Welcome to the Thursday YouTube Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in the US and I'm hoping that everyone is having a good day. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this up and get to the chat. Wow, that worked right away first time today. Yay! Okay. So let's just give everybody a couple of minutes to get on. And I think the view is okay. Hopefully. Hello, Tracy. How are you? Hello, Sandra. So glad to see you here. I'm hoping that the view is good for you. I think I've figured out the mini and how to make it have a decent size for everyone. Hello, Laura. So just let me know if you think the picture is good and you can see well enough. It looks okay on my end. And then we're going to go ahead here. Oh, the view is great. Thanks, Sandra, so much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yes. The view is good. A little glare from the lights. Okay, let's see what we can do about that. Actually, you know what? I don't need the glass mat tonight. So let's just take that out of the picture. And then we won't have any glare from the lights. There we go. Okay, now we don't have to worry about it. Awesome. That's how you fix that. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Choose Happy stamp set again tonight. I started this on Tuesday night, and if you saw the video replay, which actually I thought I posted on YouTube, and I didn't post it until about an hour ago because I got distracted apparently and didn't finish it. So it's up if you missed it on Tuesday. And we're going to use the Choose Happy, and we're going to make just a simple little box. And this is the box we're making. And this I sized to fit some Haribo Gold Bear gummy bears. Costco has these on sale right now for a good price. You get 125 packets in the bag. And I can't remember what they are, but they were pretty reasonable. And then I have these Sour Punch little thingies. So I thought these would make really cute little boxes for the kids for Halloween. So that's what we're making tonight. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead. We'll do the stamping and the coloring. Oh, good. My pumpkin pie markers are right there. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So let's, like I said, we don't need many things. So we've got a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and this is 7.5 inches by 5. And then I've got a scrap piece of cardstock of the white. I have a piece of the Iconic Celebrations 6x6 Designer Series paper stack. Okay, and I took out of this stack the pumpkins. So it's got pumpkins on the front, and on the back is the pecan pie diagonal plaid. So we're going to use just a very small piece of that. I think this is, well, let's measure it because I can't remember. This is 2 5/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, and that's because our finished box size is 2.5 wide by 3 inches tall by 3/4 inches thick. And I like to have the narrow border. So if you don't want yours to be as narrow, you could do 2.5 by 2 3/4, and that would be the size if you chose not to do that. I also have a scrap piece because we're going to be doing a little bit of embossing tonight. So let's go ahead and stamp our pumpkins. We only need one ink color besides the Versamark. So we're going to use Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm going to stamp three. Oh, what am I doing? I only need one pumpkin here. Hang on. I need to punch this heartfelt hexagon punch. And then I just need that one little pumpkin that I stamped. And then I'm going to stamp on this tag. I'm going to stamp one pumpkin on the right and one pumpkin on the left. Okay. And then we're going to color these. And we're not putting the memento away quite yet. I'm going to bring in my coloring thing here. Get those extra things out of the way. Get this. We're going to take some pumpkin pie Stampin' Blends. And I'm going to start with the dark. And I'm just going to give a little bit of dimension here. And I'm going to go here where the lines would be, where there would be a shadow. Okay. And then let's go ahead and we'll fill this in with the light. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go back and do that same thing over here on the other pumpkin. Put in some dark. Then fill it in with the light. That'll just give our pumpkin some dimension. And then we're going to do that one more time with this extra one that we did over here. And just put in that dark again. And then we'll be done with the pumpkin pie. Let's color that up. Blend those in together. Okay. So that's that. And then we're going to take a little bit of the dark Mossy Meadow. Oh, if this happens to you, put these back in like this, give that a good click, and then put your thumb on those three dots. Pull that, hopefully it'll stay in. If not, let's see, pull that out. And then we'll insert that back in, give it a nice good click. Okay, and then we're just going to color in those stems. Okay, and that is all of our coloring. Now, before we do anything else, let's go ahead. We're going to bring back in a single pumpkin. And we're going to bring back in our memento. And we're going to take the Halloween face, the jack-o'-lantern face, from the Choose Happy stamp set right here. I'm going to ink that up really well. Put that down, and then I'm just going to let it sit there. Now, could you do this before you did the marker? Sure, you could, and then color around it, but I think it's easier if you just do it this way. Okay, and then hold that on there and you'll get a nice crisp image. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's go ahead and cut this out because there are no dies for this stamp set. I hope if you didn't already have this, you picked it up during the stamp sale that ended yesterday, because this is an awesome set. Good for just about any occasion. My video on Tuesday, I used this stamp set to make a Christmas card and paired it with merriest trees. So if you didn't see that, you'll sure want to go back and check that out. Okay, so there is our little jack-o'-lantern. Now we're going to go ahead and add this to the center right here with a Stampin' Dimensional. Okay, I'm just going to put one in the middle there. It's a pretty small image. And I'm just going to center that between the two. And I want to put it down just a bit so it looks like it's more out front. Okay, so this piece is now mostly ready. We need to add our sentiment, but let's go ahead and make our box. And then we'll stamp and emboss that sentiment. Okay, so let's bring in our Simply Scored tool. You could use the Stampin' Trimmer if that's your preferred method, but this is definitely my preferred scoring tool. And we've got a template, so let's bring that in so I can see it. I'll show it to you in just a moment. So I've got the 7.5-inch side in the top of my score tool, and I'm going to score this at 3/4, 3.5, 4.25, and 7. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate this clockwise, and I'm going to score on the 5-inch side at 3/4, 3.75, and 4.5. Whoa, 4.5. Okay, if you get that, flip this over and very gently go back down where that scored where you didn't want it to, and push that back the other way. And as long as you don't do it too hard, you should be in pretty good shape. Okay, now you can't hardly tell that I did that. Okay, so let's bring our template in. And here is our cardstock. I'm going to take our bone folder and I'm going to, hello, Ione Priest from New Zealand. So happy to have you. What's on the end of my Take Your Pick tool? This one, Tracy? I have the blades, the hobby blades that go on, that are the add-on on this end of that score. Take Your Pick. I think they call them the crafter tools. I think that's what it's called in the online store. Anyway, I'm so excited to have somebody on from New Zealand. That's pretty cool. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so we have this skinny little tab on the side, and this is going to be our glue tab. And then we have these two sections on this side, and this is the top of our box. So of course that makes this the bottom of our box. I like to start on the side, which is my glue tab, and get that cut first. So I'm going to flip this over so it's easier for me. And I'm going to cut on this long rectangular section here, and I'm going to make a miter cut, an angled cut toward the score line and only up to the first horizontal. And then I'm going to repeat that, but I'm going to go to the left this time. Okay, so now I've got a glue tab, and then I'm going to turn this and cut to the left of that score line, just right at the edge, and remove that section, and then turn it and do the same thing here. Okay, so that gives me my glue tab. All right, so this is where we're at so far compared to the template. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the bottom, and I'm going to cut up to the first score line, the first horizontal on each of these vertical score lines. And then I'm going to miter cut. So I'm going to cut straight up on the large rectangle and miter cut on the squares on both sides. Straight up on the large rectangle, angle cut, straight up. Okay. And that's going to give me a nice bulk-free bottom to fold in. Okay. Now, because this is a tuck tab box, I don't need both of these pieces. I like to cut off this one closest to the tuck tab, and that makes this the back of my box. Okay, so I'm going to cut right along that score line, this vertical score line on the second score, and I'm cutting just to the right of that score line so that I'm removing the entire score. Then I'm going to come over here, and ordinarily I would tell you to cut up straight on the rectangle, but because we're removing the rectangle, I want you to cut to the left of that score line and remove that score completely. Okay? Then we're going to come in and cut up 2 score lines and cut up 2 score lines over here. Then I'm going to fold in the long rectangle. I'm going to remove these 2 small rectangles. I'm going to cut right to the left of those score lines and remove the score line completely. And then I'm going to miter those little squares slightly. Okay, you don't want to miter these too big because this is what's going to hold your tuck tab down inside your box firmly. Okay, so it's just a tiny little miter. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. And now let's bring back in our template. Okay, so now our template looks pretty much like our box, but we need to round these corners. So I'm going to take a corner rounder. If you don't have a corner rounder, you can round those corners with just a pair of scissors. I've done it. Mostly I do it when I forget to do it before I put things together. But it is possible. Okay, so I've just taken a tiny little corner there. Then I need a small circle punch, and you could use 3/4, 1 inch, whatever works for you. And we're going to put a small little finger notch in here. Now you can measure it, which is what I usually do, or you can eyeball it. Tonight I'm going to eyeball it, and I'm going to give that a little snip. Okay, so okay, oops, I forgot to fold on this score line. That is really important. Okay, so we're good here. Now, before I go any further, I want to put my designer series paper on because I find it easier to put the paper on when the box is flat. Most people would think that this would be the front of your box, but because of the way I've cut mine, it's not the front of my box, it's the back of my box. I don't like this to be on the front and interfere with my design. So when I do my boxes, I design them this way, okay? So the piece that does not have that finger notch is the front of our box. So let's go ahead and put our designer series paper on. And I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal. Okay. So let's put that on there. Like so. And then we can go ahead and put our box together. So my preferred adhesive for boxes is tear and tape. So I'm going to take and put my tear and tape as close to this score line on the glue tab as I can. Sorry for my reach there. And I'm going to tear that off and burnish it down. Okay, now again, this is the front of our box, so I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put some tear and tape on the inside bottom edge of that inside flap right there. Okay, and I just ran out of tear and tape. I have another one handy. Go ahead and pull that out. I was prepared. And it was getting extremely low. So I'm going to take and put one more piece of tear tape on this little, on the two little tabs right here on the inside. Whoop. Okay. And then I'm going to burnish those down. Take my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to turn it over and take the wax paper backing off of this glue tab piece. Then I'll flip it back over, fold it on the second score line from the left, and the first score line from the right will meet over, and those two should line up perfectly. Give that a good press and burnish it down. Then we're going to fold in our tabs, tuck in our top. I'm going to remove the backing from all three of these bottom pieces. Now, if you would like to use glue, you could. I just don't like to sit and hold it to dry. And because I don't live in a high humidity area, I don't have trouble. So I'm going to fold this large bottom piece in first. Then I'm going to fold my side tabs over. And then I'm going to fold my front over all of it. Okay? So now I have a nice clean outside. And I have a nice clean inside that will not catch my treats. Nobody knows those tabs are there. Everything looks nice and clean. And this is ready to be filled. Now, I forgot to, oh, hang on just 1 second, because I forgot to have them handy. So I'm just going to put my little Haribo bears in here, fold over the packaging on those sour wormy things, Sour Patch Twists, Sour Punch Twist, whatever they are. And now we're ready to decorate. Okay, so we can go ahead and put this on the front of our box, and you can pop it up or not. I'm going to go ahead and pop this one up. I did not pop my first one up, and it looks a little flat to me, and because it's a 3D treat I don't have to mail, it doesn't really matter how thick I make it. This is when you get to dimensionalize like crazy, because it just doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to put one more right here in the center just to give that good contact. Make sure it doesn't sag in the middle. And then we'll add this to the front of our box, like so. Okay, now we need a sentiment. So we're going to go with the little boo from that Choose Happy. We're going to take our black cardstock, basic black, some Versamark ink, and I'm going to use my embossing buddy out of the toolkit. Sorry, I was checking to see if there were any comments I missed. Okay. And then we're going to do boo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it. I'm going to put one boo right down here at the bottom. I want 3 boos. So I'm putting them at the edge of the cardstock so that I can hand trim these out. Okay. And I don't know if that one's going to work so good. Let's do another one just to ensure that I have 3 good ones. It still looks like I pushed too hard. Hang on. That's the thing with these tiny little stamps, is that if you push too hard, they squish a bit. Okay, so now let's bring in the white embossing powder. And I'm going to bring in my reverse tweezers here because this is kind of on the small side. And when I'm ready, and I'll just put that on. Well, that's not going to work yet. Tap that off, make sure these are all good. Okay. All right. Now I'll clean that up in a bit, but set it totally out of the way so I don't have a problem with it. Now I'm going to turn on my heat tool and I'm going to heat those up. Okay. And I like to start heating my paper from the back. Helps with the warpage of the paper. And once I see those turn shiny, I'll move my heat. Okay, because you can burn your powder if you let it sit on there too long. So these are good. Let that cool for just a minute. And then I can take these and take my favorite ones because I did so many. And I can just trim that right out with my scissors. Ooh, I caught that, thank goodness. And then we just need 3 of these. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, and 3. Simple cuts when you do those right at the edge of your cardstock. Okay, so then we're going to take these, and this time I'm going to take just a little bit of liquid glue. And make sure I get my glue flowing. Whoops. I'm using my tweezers because these things are so small. And we put just a little bit of glue on here. If I can get this to pop right out of there. Come on, there we go. Okay, I'm going to put one over here on the right. I'm going to trim this one up just a tiny bit more. And then we'll put this one on the left. At an angle. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a tiny little piece of dimensional here. If I could find my minis, that would be a whole lot easier. They're not where they belong. Okay, well, I'll just take and cut up a piece of this, and I think this will work perfect. The edges to these dimensionals work great for this. Ooh, if I had the black ones, it would be even better. But I didn't think about that to grab them. Okay, so now we've got this little boo. And we're going to straighten that cut up because I don't like how it looks. There we go. That's better. And I'm going to put that right down there. Now we are almost finished with this box. We're going to bring in the Natural Tones linen thread, and I'm going to use my bow jig. And I'm going to use the copper clay ink, or the copper clay ribbon. It's close enough to this Cajun craze that you won't even notice the difference. And I'm going to tie a double bow here. And then we'll have this done. Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll bring in the glue dots. And we're going to roll up a little glue dot. As I take your pick tool, just going to roll that into a log. Okay. And then we'll put that on the back of our ribbon here. And add this right on top here at the edge. Okay. And there you have it. There's our little Choose Happy Halloween treat box. I hope you like that. And I hope you make one. There we are. Thanks so much for joining me. I will be back live Tuesday night on my Facebook page, which is KNT Designs by Teresa. You can find me there live at 7. And then I'll be back again live next Thursday. Wait a minute. Nope, next Thursday I won't be live because I have a volleyball game. So I will post a pre-recorded video for next Thursday so you don't have to miss out. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a good week. Good night.